Hey folks, thought I'd give you an update on where I am with some of the various builds that I've posted previews before in the past. A number of y'all have asked about one or two different builds, and I figured I'd address all of that in one video. Have a look. Um, so the first one here, this is a Star Trek inspired build, a Klingon faction version, if you will. Um, Project titled Kylos Deathwing. This has gone through some live server testing and seems pretty legit as a fighter, as well as looking pretty good. Just working through a number of things right now, getting some of the armor configuration optimized, weight distribution, things like that. Trying to work out a lot of the chain explosion reactions, see if I can mitigate some of those. A couple of things I'm looking at is getting rid of some of the cargo here and replacing this with blast walls so that I can cut off some of the. So, well, the issue is like this whole hangar area is essentially a lighter. If there's any kind of penetration, this whole thing's going to go up. So right now, just kind of working out some of the blast radius distribution, trying to cut some of that off. As far as the aesthetic value with it, everything's pretty good to go. Got LCDs in. May do a little bit of texture tweaking here and there, but for the most part, it's looking pretty crisp. Could potentially see release on the workshop sometime this week. Depends on how the progress goes with the blast mitigation and all that. I guess we'll take a look at interiors during nighttime. I'll give you a preview of this here. This is some of the lighting work on the outside. Really went for trying to capture some of the Klingon coloration with the glows and various effects. See, we have a Klingon logo set there. There's a couple distributed throughout the build, so a little bit of roleplay flavor thing going on. Pretty much all the LCDs that I've wanted to install or set in. And there's a couple here and there that maybe I'd like to add, but I may leave that out just to get the build cranked out. We'll see how I'm feeling about that. There's a forward deployment ramp, so I like to go for ease of access, have some entry points scattered throughout the builds that I make. I hate to do a lot of traversing through builds, so try to install as many as I can to cut down on all the travel time. Now this is the forward bridge. This is the O2 supply area. I do have core set in here. I didn't want the core associated with any areas that would have key components such as CPU and all that stuff, so try to isolate that in its own area. Got a little role-playing bar here, food processor, fridge, all that stuff going on. For Reforged Eden, these are the medium-sized shield settings. And then, of course, there's space for two here. It's not a cruiser, a battleship per se. It's more of a light attack fighter. There is some armor in critical areas, the bridges and around various components. Like the outside of the hull for the hangar, that's armored up. But for the most part, it's a spin build. It's a corkscrew build. You get the most value out of this ship by being maneuverable. So that's the idea behind this build, and with that I have met a lot of success. With an auxiliary 5 setup, I've even soloed a Zen-1 carrier and defeated that. So I don't have any problems in drone space with this thing. So as it is, it's it's pretty good, pretty stout as a fighter. I feel comfortable in taking that anywhere. So I guess from here the issue would be trying to educate people on how to properly make the most of that. So when this is released, I'll probably do like a educational video on how to properly pilot that and uh, upgrade routes and all that. The same thing I did with the Taurus. So another thing I'm working on with the Klingon series is a shuttle to be tied in with it. So I don't have a name for this one yet, but probably be cheap. I might try and look at making this as a starter. So I'll look at getting some of the costs down. So pretty tight spacing, but I like it. I like the look at the first person cockpit view. That looks pretty good. Got some nacelles going on. So another thing I have going on is I like to have a cheap starter. Perhaps I guess you could term it as a shuttle. So basically, just just enough to get you out of system, not something that you'd want to upgrade into and try and convert into a miner or anything of that nature late game. But something simple, real cheap, maybe like a level 7 spawn to get you going on that and get you out of system, get you linked up to your friends or faction mates or whatever. So these, I'm working through a couple iterations here. I haven't really decided on the design, but it's just big enough to accommodate a warp. And for Reforged Eden, there's going to be a placement for a small shield, so to help with some protection. But it may see like a 100,000 K capacity for storage, and probably not much more past that. I guess maybe later if the player wanted to, they could slot in some multi-tool drills or something. It could be like a little captain's yacht, some have called it. Could be the thing that you dock to your bigger CV and you want to use as a salvager or something like that. So the other project I have going on is, well, I guess we're calling it Project Drake right now. Not sure the name will stick long term, but this was a build I put up quite a while ago. Previewed it, and I kind of kicked it to the side because I had other things come up. And here recently, I have started putting some work into it. A lot of you have been asking about it, so it is seeing a little bit of love. Right now, it's not top priority. There are other things going on. Some other releases I'd like to get out soon, but soon enough it'll become priority. It's got a good look to it. The issue I have with it at the moment is it's not optimized for combat, I guess you could say. This was originally this chassis, this hull down before the changes to, or the addition to the shields for, was it 1.7 Reforged Eden, and the shape of it was such that I had just enough space to fit all of these in here, but I see the issues that these are too far forward. So I don't like the idea of having a critical component that forward of the ship, but I don't know yet. Maybe y'all could tell me otherwise in the comments. Maybe you're fine with it as is. I'm doing a number of things, up armoring this section around here, adding some layers, but at this angle it's pretty thin. So whereas with here it's got a good layering of protection. So just I guess I can put some decoys in here, some additional ones. I've got one now, so maybe I can work some things out with that, and not sacrifice too much of the aesthetic value to it. Another thing I'm working on with this is trying to add as many additional turret mounts as possible. Originally, the design was just to prioritize on mounted weaponry, and there'd just be a sprinkling of turrets here and there for drone coverage. But I figured I'd try and develop this into, you know, more of a proper cruiser and get more additional placement for turrets slotted in. So that's something I'm working through. Of course, thruster placement is going to have to be optimized. I'm going to need to place some up here, some big boys. This was just done for effect, these 8 advanced thrusters, so I'll probably take these out and add in some faux thrusters just for effect. I do have a little bit of the interior done. We'll give you a look at that right now. So with this hangar area, I still need some additional areas to be put in, such as the medical suite. So some things are being worked on. Oh, look at this. I didn't even know there was a glow effect with the new repair terminal. That looks pretty cool. So I guess there were some good things to come out of the last patch. But I do have placement for 4 of these right now in the hangar. That still leaves me with 4 to be placed. So I do have some space throughout the rest of the ship to be able to accommodate that. Now, also, I'm kind of working on the layout for this here. I'm not certain if I'm necessarily feeling this, but this is for core storage, so you would have allotment for your core 9 on the top level, and then for additional Reforged Eden servers, your quantums, and etc. There's a placement here for all of these. A particular server I play on, the Anvil server, you've got space or usage for 30 additional cores. Another category being hamster cores. So this will allow for a 30 count. Not sure if, you know, again, if I'm settled on this, it might be okay, the overall design of it. Could call it a core dojo, if you will. It might look cool with some LCDs in the middle, you know, maybe some sort of maybe like an electrical link going from the shield down to the floor, some kind of mounted device on the floor or something like that. That might be pretty cool. Okay, this is leading up to a farm area. I'm undecided if I want to keep the farm. I might have to cannibalize this to add other areas. So for example, in here, the core room, I have 2 fusion cores placed. So I was thinking about perhaps knocking back some of this wall and adding a 3rd one. And also using some of the additional spacing to put the blast walls between these to cut off some of the chain explosions. It's leading into the shield room. It's a pretty good looking setting. I liked how with the bigger shield devices, you're able to utilize some of the piping linked into that. So I made use of that. So it's a pretty good look. I also tried to go to the notion of implementing all of the area as accessible, but some of it I don't think I could utilize. So I wanted to have like a low floor engineering section or something, but I may have to just scrap this and probably should use it for some additional armor or something anyways. So I do have additional sections. I'm still trying to decide on what I want to do. This is an overview of the core dojo, if you will, and got this section here. I'm undecided on what I want to do with this. I also have, well, actually no, I cut that out. I did have some additional floor below the hangar. I forgot I had scrapped that. So never mind. This is what happens when you have like 6 or 7 different versions of a build. You forget where you are. Let's see. Let's take a look at the bridge. You know, believe it or not, this design actually, I started with. I wanted to build a winged bridge, and after that, the rest of the ship just kind of floated around it. So yeah, pretty crazy notion that the the build just started as a bridge. That was the single strike point. The the ignition of this build was just the bridge. But yeah, there it is. A couple of things I have going on. There has been talk about some ideas about, maybe making a fully decked out version of the Taurus, a fully upgraded version, and putting it up and up armoring it. So I was thinking maybe perhaps I will do a military conversion of the Taurus. So that could be something that is popping off in the workshop soon. I got some ideas on how I would do it. I'd probably increase the length a little bit, perhaps even the width, but I would definitely take out the farms that would go. That would be replaced with something else. For reforging, it would be for some of the medium-sized shield capacitors. I would increase the thickness of the hangar section, so additional hangars for protection. I guess I would do some build up here for additional turrets on the top. So as it is, the build it's got a decent coverage on the bottom if you don't use solar. There's a good number of turrets that can be placed there, like 17, upwards of 19, depending on how you lay out. I would add some mounts here on the side. Now there's not really any officially placed, but you can place some now. But I think I would put some there that would be flagged as placeable, so that would be obvious. Yeah, so military version could potentially be popping off in the future. So past that, a couple of minor projects I got going on. Just a few HVs. I've had this completed for a while, so it's just a little starter on like level 5. Something cheap, something to get you going. So it'll probably be up there as well shortly. It just needs a little bit of LCD work. Optimize some of the components. Right now, one of the issues is while driving and running the constructor, that it's going to stress the gen. So I need to resolve some minor things like this. And then these are intended as motorbike replacements. So, real cheap, just getting you going. I think I've got, is it the 2,000 capacity? Yeah, 2,000 capacity, fridge, go Wi-Fi, just some minor conveniences, real cheap on price. This is reforged even price, so it's going to be even cheaper than this for vanilla. So currently level 5. I'll probably see about getting that even lower. I don't have any utility mounts yet, so maybe I'll have something here for a minigun, maybe a harvester here. So I'll look at doing some things like that. Yeah, I mean, I got several other builds I got going on, but that's it for now. These are probably the closest to release, especially the Deathwing. So, yeah, I'll be looking for that in the future sometime. So, all right, that's it. If you'd like to stay informed about these builds and many others to come, please make sure to subscribe and also like, as this helps the channel grow. LyfeForce out.